Two, three.
Hello and welcome to the Back Nine Report. My name is Carlos Torres, and every week, alongside with Fred Alvader, we bring you some hot topics, some news, insights, and analysis from the world of golf. And we have a big one today because the PGA Tour overhauled the Tour Championship, ditching the staggered start for this year. So, Fred, first of all, hi, how are you today?
I'm great, Carlos. We really haven't had a lot of news over the last couple weeks. It's been pretty quiet on the LIV PGA Tour front. Not a lot of stuff going on there. We're into tournament season, so we're in the big tournaments for the PGA Tour and the LPGA. We got a major going on this week. The U.S. Women's Open is going on in Erin Hills. We got a signature event here in Columbus, Ohio, the Memorial Tournament. So we've got a lot of golf news, but not a lot of news outside the realm of the golf course. And this was kind of a little bit of a bombshell that PGA Tour Commissioner dropped on us yesterday, Carlos.
It was, and of course, we have to talk about it because this is something that has been a thorn in a lot of people's side, maybe us as well. But anyway, let's get right to it. The PGA Tour yesterday announced you can call it a significant revamp to its season-ending tour championship. Once again, they eliminated the controversial starting strokes staggered scoring system effective right now, this year. It's
You mean
not
the
next
PGA
year.
Tour isn't going to use net handicap anymore? I thought that was a deal, net gross, just like every tournament at your club, right?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, these people don't listen to us, but let's just report on it. It's just their stuff. But anyway, the move, it'll see all 30 qualifying players now begin the tournament at even par. Once again, I mean, they just go back. But anyway, the winner of the 72-hole stroke play event will also be crowned the FedEx Cup champion.
And they're going to get the $25 million check.
Yeah, the big check and everything. I mean,
So
that
you can
was
finish 30th during the year, and you're going to get the $25 million check when some guy has won 7 events and a couple majors, and he's going to end up down in 30th place or something.
That's correct. I mean, just one tournament and that's it. You are the FedEx
One
Cup
tournament for
champion.
25 mil.
One
Woo!
tournament. So, for those who don't know what was the staggered start, this has been in place since 2019. That's pre-COVID. The staggered starting strokes. It was designed to ensure that the winner of the Tour Championship would also be the FedEx Cup champion, which effectively gave a handicap to the players based on their FedEx Cup points standing heading into the finals, right? So the number one ranked player in the FedEx Cup would begin the championship tour, the tour championship at 10 under, the number two at 8 under, three at 7 under, and so on. They were going, I'm not going to go all of them down to the players ranked 26 to 30 who would start at even par. That way, they were, intentionally trying to give a built-in advantage to those who had performed best throughout the season and the preceding playoff events. That way, they will have something on the long run. Hey, I'm giving you something of a head start to try to win it. Now, why the change? The PGA Tour cited several key reasons, and one of them was they call it feedback. A significant driver was the feedback from the tours. They call it a fan forward initiative. That research indicated that the fans desired winning scores closer to par and a more straightforward, engaging, and easier to understand format for the championship. They didn't want it to have a crash course on how to have math, I guess. They didn't like math or something. Another reason was the PAC, the Player Advisory Council. They were heavily involved in the decision. I think this was all about the players. Many players, including some who had benefited from the system, found it confusing or silly. Uh, just like Scotty Scheffler termed it, players advocated for a format that was truer to a test of golf in the final week. Uh, Fred, I don't know. This is a lot of things they call, enhanced competition and simplicity, course setup adjustments, because that way, along with the format change, the tour rules committee will adjust the course setups at East Lake to encourage more risk reward moments, to make it a little difficult.
What are they
The
going to do?
player
Make the
narrative.
ponds deeper or something, or what? I mean, there's a lot of water in East Lake.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how they're going to do that, but that's what they're saying. So, What you think about this, traditional format offering supposedly a clearer narrative for a championship week where all 30 players starts on equal footing?
Well, we've kind of seen this movie before, I think, and they didn't like it before, but back then they split it. The winner of the tour championship itself got a check of like, I don't know, $1.5 million or whatever. And then you had to have so many points. And so the guy that finished highest from who had done well all year, he got the big check, even though he may not have won the tour championship. And so that created problems among the players. They didn't like that. It was kind of a ho hum moment at the end, and fans tuned out. They weren't excited about it. So they keep trying to bring something, a measure of excitement into this tour championship to get people to watch. And I was never a big fan of the handicapping. I thought it was too much. Maybe if they started at 5 strokes and went down, for the first 7 or 8 or 10 guys, and the rest of them just started at even, that would work. They don't have to start at 10. But anyhow, I digress. So Jay Monahan said the Player Advisory Council led a thorough process to respond to what our fans are asking for. What a novel concept, what the players and the fans are asking for. The most competitive golf in the world played for the highest stakes in the most straightforward and engaging format. So you can have a guy that finished 30th during the regular season and he goes crazy during the tour championship and he gets the $25 million big check. So, Carlos, there are a couple of other things in here. You mentioned them. Besides the elimination of starting strokes, they're also going to make adjustments to the course setup, as you mentioned. And Scotty Scheffler made mention that they do want it to be the toughest tournament to qualify for. Matter of fact, Scotty said today, we want the Tour Championship to be the hardest tournament to qualify for and the FedEx Cup Trophy to be the most difficult to win. Shifting the Tour Championship to a more straight up format with a tougher course setup makes it easier for fans to follow and provides a more challenging test for players, which brings out the best competition. Now, the odds are that the top 4 or 5 players from the year are going to be the ones competing for this thing. But we both know that there are players in the 25 to 30 category that are very capable of winning this thing. Anybody that can make it to this tour championship can win this event. They are seasoned, they are trained, they can do this. They are players, okay? When you're in the top 30 out of what is there? There's 125, let's say there's 200 guys playing on the PGA Tour off and on, okay, throughout the year. And then you've got another 400 or 500 that play in minor events as well. But when you get down to the top 30, these guys all are competitors. They all can play. Now, my question is, I remember before we had the equal starting scores and when there was a separate championship for the Tour Championship and for the FedEx Cup. And if you have a tremendous year, like Scotty Scheffler last year. So when we talk about Scotty Scheffler, I mean he benefited from these strokes that he got last year, but the 2 years before he got a lot of strokes and he didn't benefit from them. He still lost. So he's been on both sides of this, and he is advocating for this. So if Scotty Scheffler is advocating, well, we got to think that it's probably the right thing, right? I mean, I have no reason to doubt him. He's a heck of a player, and he's thoughtful. He's well spoken. So maybe this is the right thing to do. But I just don't know if I'm the best player all year, okay, and I get clipped by a guy by a couple shots who finished 30th and he gets a 25 mil and I don't. Now, yeah, maybe I'm in runner up and I'm getting a check for, I'm still getting the bonus money. I'm still getting a nice check for 5 mil or whatever second place pays. It's not terrible money. Don't get me wrong, but there's a lot of room between 5 million and 25 million. So I'm not sure this is still the right answer. And the other thing is, does this make it really more exciting, or is it just more of a money grab, Carlos?
Let me put it this way, and let me say a few things. One, I think let's put it on the good and the potential considerations that I see. Good one for the fans, of course. Golf can be complex enough, right? So straightforward stroke play finish is easier for casual and avid fans to understand and follow. So if you want to try to get those casual fans to try to attract them to golf, if you're gonna be with okay, this one started at on 10 under and all that, they're not just gonna understand that. So for fans, simple. Authentic competition, of course. I mean, the winner of the Tour Championship will be the player who performs best over the 4 days at East Lake. So, a pure and respected measure in golf. Now, you can see drama. I mean, knowing that any of the 30 qualifiers can win if they play superbly, that adds to the excitement and potential for Cinderella stories that we have seen before. That's missing as well because
But it's not really
basically,
a Cinderella story because I mean the guy finished top 30, so he's one of the best already. So it's
but
not really
still
a
he's one
Cinderella
of the
story.
ones that, but he's not considered to be the favorite. You would be of the top tens are the ones that you expect to be the
Yeah,
winners, but
yeah.
like a Camilo Villegas when he won, those are people that are like way back there. How did he made it to the top 30? Maybe he's on the top 30 now, but it was because he benefited through the playoffs to get to that 30 position. And if he's there and wins, hey, that's incredible. That was a Cinderella story. So the players apparently they're the ones that have the overwhelming support here. They're central to the product, lend significantly credibility to the change because they're the ones doing it. Now, I am with you. The biggest challenge to me will be ensuring that the season-long FedEx Cup still feels valued. I mean, it's like I'm playing all these tournaments for what? I mean, while qualifying for the tournament championship is an achievement, this new system places immense weight on a performance in just 1 week.
Do you think
Forget
it? Do you
about the
think it
rest.
detracts from the overall season-long FedEx Cup? Then do you think it detracts from that?
Well, that's the thing that you might think at the beginning. At the beginning, I started thinking that way, But I started to shift my mind a little bit, thinking an approach to see how the NFL does it. Right, the NFL you play through this regular season. Let's take it like what happened to the New England Patriots when Randy Moss and Tom Brady were there. They went 17-0, okay, and then they won the playoffs, got to the Super Bowl, and the New York Giants beat them. So you mean to tell me that the New York Giants overshadowed a perfect season from the New England Patriots and won it all, and they are the
And
champions
that's
of the
what we that's what we
no,
love sports because everybody supposedly has a chance to win.
so
And
that's
and like the NFL, it's fairly even. And like this, all 30 players would have a chance. And they're really the difference between the number one player like Scotty Scheffler and the number 30 player is really minor, Carlos. It's not very much.
it's not, and that's the reason why I started to shift my focus on it. Okay, I'm getting through the season. You have a now signature event. You have your majors. You're still getting your money. If you're number one like Scotty Scheffler, you have won a lot of money through the year. But now to be the champion, you have to win the championship. That's why it's called the Tour Championship.
And it's not like you're not getting anything because everybody in that gets a big payday. Plus, they get a bigger piece of the $65 million bonus money.
They do. So to me, it's just okay. It sounds like I just have to get to the championship and try to just get there and have my chance to win it.
Just win, baby. Somebody really important said that one time. Just win, baby.
And to be the champ, you have to beat the champ. So anyway, to me, yeah, if Scotty Scheffler is number one, if you're number one and really want to win it, all equal, you have to go for it. So it's all equal for everybody. It's just 30 players. You don't have to beat 144, 150. Just have to be 29 more. That's all you have to do.
I was not a big fan of the starting with strokes. Not a big fan of that. Like I
Me
say,
neither.
I really thought 10 was way too many. They could have started at five and gone down from there. They
Totally
could
agree.
have they could have said, well, okay, the low guy like Scotty Scheffler is number one guy, he gets five. Let's say Rory McIlroy is number two, he gets four, and then 3 through 6 get three, and then on down get two, and on down the rest of everybody gets one or something or nothing, whatever.
I
Yeah,
was thinking only the top five. That's
Yeah.
it.
Okay. Okay.
Top
You can do
five,
that.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and that's
And
it.
that's what they used to. Remember, they used to try and load it so that really the top five guys were the only ones that had a chance to win the FedEx Cup.
Right, right. And,
So
but
that
anyway,
that
now
didn't
it's
really
even for
work either.
everybody. Yeah, now it's even for everybody. Well, any final closing comments on this?
No, I like the fact that the PGA Tour listened to fans. I like the fact that the Players Advisory Committee hasn't been really involved in this. I like the fact that they're trying to make golf a better product. I almost think sometimes they're doing more than they really need to do because they've got the best product. You can tell me all about Live if you want to, and you can tell me all day long about it. But just the last 2 years, to look at the PGA Tour, they've raised purses. They've talent has been discovered. Some of the same old guys are still there winning. Yes, some of the tournaments get a little hard to watch at the end. They're more like a Corn Ferry Tour event, just like last week with Griffin and what you would call it, struggling down the end. Making bogeys, hitting the water, making doubles. It was not pretty. But Carlos, that's golf. We know that. And I read a great thing one time about Ted Williams and Sam Snead were having a conversation at in Boston one time at Fenway Park, and so Ted Williams and Sam said, well, Ted said, well, there's not much difference between golf and in baseball, and Sam looked at him and said, you don't have to hit your foul balls. We do. And anybody can hit a foul ball at any time, right? Um, uh, Yesterday, Jack Nicklaus' press conference, he talked about playing in, I think, the 1982 Memorial, and he pushed the drive so bad it went out of bounds on number 17. He still was managed to win the tournament, but this is Jack Nicklaus, hits one out of bounds. You got to hit it about 50 yards right of where you're trying to hit it out of bounds at 17 at Muirfield Village. It happens. It happens to all of us. So I hope this makes it better. I'm not sure it's going to. There's going to still be controversy. And when you're playing for this much money and this prestige, not everybody's going to be happy, Carlos.
It's gonna be all about the marketing, and we'll see how it goes. If you really build it up, the fans will be there. I think it's just better for the casual fans to understand it and try to approach the game that way. But
Are
anyway,
you a casual fan or experienced observer?
I don't know. I just try to look at it.
I'd say you're a pretty experienced observer. We've seen a lot of stuff in 20 years,
Yeah,
man.
yeah. But anyway, we'll definitely be observing this year and commenting about that. Let us know in the comments. Let us know. Send us your opinion about this. We'll be talking about it all year if it needs to. So thank you for joining us. It's always our pleasure to bring you the latest in the world of golf news. Thank you.